Midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
City News.
It's midday. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News, which is live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Morton Loop in Adabraka, Accra. It's also live on all our partner stations across the country. The news is also live across the globe on citynewsroom.com, Citi FM 97.3 FM on Facebook, and CityTube on YouTube. I am Wilma Obuobisa Coleman, and this afternoon I'm here with
Charles Owusu Kumi.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, second accused person believed to have conspired with Gregory Afoko in the killing of Adams Mahama, Asapke Alangdi, serves notice to appeal death sentence. Also coming up, Northern Regional Police invited former NDC Northern Regional Communications Officer Hadi Bagza for allegedly assaulting a radio presenter with Tamale-based Dabong FM.
He just moved straight to me and asked me why. So when he said why, I said why. Then he held my shirt. The other guy too went on the other side and held my shirt. So they both held me, squeezed it to my neck, and then pushed me up from the chair. I was seated.
Still ahead, Electricity Company of Ghana says it may have to write off more than 1 billion cedis of debt owed by untraceable commercial and domestic customers.
So out of the 750 and both the 780, at some point we would have to cut our losses and say the law has put a clamp on our hands, so we cannot take that money, and then we'll find a proper way to move forward.
Meanwhile, management of St. Anne's Hospital in Damongo says the facility may be forced to shut down if power is not restored as soon as possible after it was disconnected by NETCO over bills owed.
A lot of warning from the NETCO in Damongo concerning disconnection of the hospital. We've explained to them why it is difficult to disconnect the hospital. Looking at the patient that we are managing, disconnection of the hospital can be so dangerous and a life can be lost, which we can never get back. But upon all what we've done, like the manager insisted that he would disconnect us, and truly to his word, he has done this morning.
And later, over 300 peasant cocoa farmers in Achim Esiom in the eastern region threatened to face illegal miners in the area if government fails to intervene in its operations.
A problem is a company be about so a concession with Wilma. AC Zeno company, mining company. Now, one of us a year and 1 to 2 years. Only be two a former good year.
Stay tuned as we bring you details of all that and more on the Citi Prime News, which is also live on all our affiliate stations across the country. If you're in the Western region, you're listening to us on Adrempa 100.7 FM in Takwa and Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady. In the Bono region, we're on Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, we're on Focus 94.3 FM on the KNUST campus and Orange 107.9 FM all in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're on Revival 99.3 FM in Tajawu and VOV Radio 95.7 in Hohoi. In the northern region, we're on Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM. And in the Upper East region, we're on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. In the Upper West, you're listening to us on Tungsung 97.3 FM in Iwa and Drapa 96.1 FM.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for doing the listening this afternoon. We'll settle for the details of our stories now. Now, Asapke Alangdi, the second accused person believed to have conspired with Gregory Afoko in the killing of Adams Mahama, has served a notice of appeal to set aside his conviction. Asapke Alangdi, who was a station master of Bolga Kumasi Ayamfuri Lorry Station on Thursday, April 27, was sentenced to death by Her Ladyship Wood J.A. at the High Court General Jurisdiction 11 after a 7-member jury panel found him guilty. In the first accused person Gregory Afoko's case, the court ordered for Afoko's retrial after the jury returned a 4-3 not guilty verdict in his favor on both counts of conspiracy and murder. But days after Sapke's conviction, his lawyer has filed an appeal to the appeals court for his conviction to be put aside, stating that the appellant was dissatisfied with the ruling. Per the appeal statement cited by Citi News, his lawyer says the trial judge failed to adequately direct the jury on the offense of conspiracy in the summing up, leading to misdirection and conviction of his client. He also states that the conviction of Asapke Alande is erroneous and is not supported by the evidence adduced at the trial.
Now, police in the Northern Region have invited a former NDC Northern Regional Communications Officer, Hadi Pagza, for allegedly assaulting a radio presenter with Tamale-based Dagbon FM, Sadiq Garba. The accused is alleged to have gone to the station yesterday and assaulted verbally and physically the presenter during a live radio program. In a video circulating on social media, Mr. Pagza and one other man were seen at the studio of Dagbon Radio. The two men confronted the presenter and threatened to slap him if he uttered a word. The host then stood up and went out of the studio with the attackers. The victim, Sadiq Garba, spoke to Citi News on the incident.
He went on a campaign platform and spoke about this Abude and Andanitin. So I brought it on my show and discussed it and said to my time we stop discussing such issues on our campaign platform. After that, then he went to a different radio station and granted an interview of which he mentioned my name and said I should be the last person teaching communication. My communication can only be compared to his daughter, but not himself. So I brought that tape on my show yesterday before I started. So I played the tape and said, I would have discussed him on why I should advise him on our brand. But he said a statement before mentioning my name, and that statement is false. And anybody with false statement of it means that he's not credible. So it's not what is being discussed on my show. So that was it, and we ended the topic. So we started with other topics. So we're just discussing the other topics when he walked in with the friend to do the attack.
So when he walked in, what did he do?
He just moved straight to me and asked me why. So when he said why, I said why. Then he held my shirt. The other guy too went on the other side and held my shirt. So they both held me, squeezed it to my neck, and then pushed me up from the chair. I was seated. So the other guy was saying that if I should put in my mouth, he would knock. So I was just pushed away. He was asking me that, just open your mouth and I will knock. So I never mind him. Then he said, if I ever mention his name again, he will kill me.
Have you reported to the police?
Yeah, we are even currently at the police. Last night we came and reported it and we wrote our statement. So we are making a follow-up on it this month.
Has the police taken any action? Have they invited him?
They said they invited him last night and he's supposed to be here at 9:30.
That was a radio presenter with Tamale-based Dagbon FM, Sadiq Garba. Now, attempts to speak to Mr. Hadi Pagza have proven futile, as we were told that he was before the police in Tamale.
Now, the Ghana Statistical Service has called on the government to critically address the situation where some 157,000 persons remained unemployed throughout last year. According to the service, these persons were persistently unemployed for 9 months in 2022. Professor Samuel Kobna Enim advised the government to look beyond the rate of unemployment and tackle the cause of the phenomenon.
One of the things that we want people to get out of yesterday's release is what we call the unemployment spell. And I'm bringing this up because you raised the issue of 1.76 million people whom at any point in time are unemployed. But what we want government to focus on is the 157,000 people who persistently remain unemployed across the 9 months of 2022. What we want government to focus on is people who were unemployed in the second quarter, moved out of unemployment, gained employment in the second quarter, and then in the third quarter returned to an unemployed status. And we have about 110,000 of that. These are people that experience things for a short while and come back to their state, or permanently remain below the employment bar. And that is where we want the conversation to focus on, rather than always saying that unemployment has gone up by 2%, has reduced by 3%, which from our point of view, it doesn't really help in setting statistical targets and targeting people for intervention.
That was the government statistician, Professor Samuel Kobna-Enim.
Still with Professor Samuel Kobna-Enim, he has challenged the public to familiarize itself with data on its latest work on the Ghana Annual Household Income and Expenditure Survey to guide their decisions. The survey revealed that 2.5 million Ghanaians from the ages between 15 to 35 were not in employment, education, or training across 3 quarters of last year. It also shows that about 1.76 million persons were unemployed in the 3rd quarter, with the number of females as high as twice of that of males. Meanwhile, on the average, close to 11 million persons were employed across the 3 quarters. Speaking to Citi News, Professor Enim revealed that by the time of the year, the Ghana Statistical Service was striving to produce Ghana's first set of productivity data that would show which industry in Ghana was booming.
We apologize for our inability to play that instead. Now, the management of the St. Anne's Hospital in Damango say it will be forced to close down the facility if power is not restored soon. NEDCO on Thursday, May 4, 2023, disconnected power to the facility, which serves as the municipal hospital to over a 4 million Ghana cedis debt. The hospital's management says it is the responsibility of the government through the Ministry of Finance to settle the hospitals since it is not allowed to bill patients for electricity. The medical director of the hospital, Dr. Nelson Agboado, told Citi News NEDCO disregarded communication from the Christian Health Association of Ghana, which detailed an agreement with government through the Finance and Energy Ministries and the power distributors not to disconnect health facilities.
So if you should have any critical thing, and patients, when you go to NICU, some children need electricity, some are on Wilma, radiant Wilma, and other things. And there are patients also that sometimes we put on oxygen concentrators. All these people are not going to benefit from these services. So at the end, it's mortality that is going to increase. People are going to die. That is the end result.
How long before we start feeling the effect of this disconnection?
Oh, the effect can be felt right now because, as I'm saying, if there is a child who is on some warmer that is keeping him warm, now the electricity has gone. Some of the temperatures that they need, you can't use covering them with a cloth to be able to provide that temperature. So somebody is on oxygen by an oxygen concentrator. Now it can't work. You have to go and get cylinder, depending on the number. If there are several people and they are beyond the cylinders, definitely those people you cannot estimate. They can die at any time. They can die at any time. You can't give a duration to those people. And if there is an emergency that has to be done in theater, and we need a light, we cannot do it. Sometimes you want to refer. By the time that you delay, the patients can die even when you want to refer the patient to another hospital. So the consequences are that. And if we don't solve that issue as early as possible, it's going to lead to a lot of problems. This is not correct. The hospital will come to a halt. We can't do anything because we can't sustain the buying of fuel. Fuel is so expensive. And looking at the things that are used in the hospital, that fuel we can't because we don't have money. The hospital is owing so much people. We are trying our best as management to try to see how we can settle those people. So coming to add this thing onto it will not be easy for us. So the hospital will come to a halt. And some of us who are from far away, we just go to where we came from. Because we are here because of the people. And we explained that we are sacrificing to come and serve people. And one person is standing on his ground that he has a directive from above. He gave even an instance that SDA hospital was disconnected. We found out it was not true. But he said he has a direction from above. And he engages us as if it is our personal property. The truth of the matter is that all staff are paying for electricity. And almost every staff has the prepaid meter. So we pay. We are not using it for our personal gain. We are using it because of the patient. And you've made these things clear, but you seem not to understand. So if the light is off, we can't do anything. Those of us we all go to our various places. There is no hospital. If something happened to somebody, it is not the fault of anybody because we are ready to work, irrespective of the challenges that we are going through. So,
management also warned that if power is not restored, the facility would have to be closed down.
So if you should have any critical thing, and patients, when you go to NICU, some children need electricity, some are on warmer, radiant warmer, and other things. And there are patients also that sometimes we put on oxygen concentrators. All these people are not going to benefit from these services. So at the end, it's mortality that is going to increase. People are going to die. That is the end result.
How long before we start feeling the effect of this disconnection?
Oh, the effect can be felt right now because, as I'm saying, if there is a child who is on some warmer that is keeping him warm, now the electricity has gone. You can't, some of the temperatures that they need, you can't use covering them with a cloth to be able to provide that temperature. So somebody is on oxygen by an oxygen concentrator. Now it can't work. You have to go and get cylinder, depending on the number. If there are several people and they are beyond the cylinders, definitely those people you cannot estimate. They can die at any time. They can die at any time. You can't give a duration to those people. And if there is an emergency that has to be done in theater, and we need a light, we cannot do it.
Dr. Nelson Agbado is the medical director of St. Anne's Hospital in Damago in the Savannah region.
Now from NEDCO, let's go to the Electricity Company of Ghana. It says it may have to write off more than 8 billion cedis of debt owed by untraceable commercial and domestic customers. ECG, however, says it has successfully recouped 3.1 billion cedis out of the 5.7 billion cedis it set out to recover in the month-long revenue mobilization exercise. Managing Director of ECG, Samuel Dubik Mahama, says the company is committed to ensuring that customers pay for the power they consume.
Set out to achieve or recoup bills owed ECG to the tune of 5.7 billion. I must say it was beautiful, it was loving, and I'd like to thank the good people of Ghana for receiving us in their homes and making sure that the exercise was fruitful. Again, I'd like to thank staff of ECG, the management and the board for an exciting exercise and the professionalism shown. That being said, out of the 5.7 billion, ECG managed to recoup 3.1 billion of the 5.7 billion. Out of this 3.1 billion recouped, the balance out there that was seen was broken down into certain categories. Some companies through the time have collapsed and have left the scene with no recourse from ECG. Through this exercise, we put boots on the ground to ascertain the location of major industries that were part of our customers who provided, who we call the special low tariff customers. The number of companies that had collapsed that we cannot find, in terms of some taking the meters away, and in terms of some of them, the physical locations not present, their total bills put together is about 750 million Ghana cedis. And the last group who are postpaid customers who through probably we want to give the benefit of the doubt. Some of them, it was true, there were demolition exercises. Some of them, some flooding, so those places are no longer existent. Some of them too, we just can't find. They've consumed, but we just can't find them. Their bills come up to about 750 million Ghana cedis. So these are bills that if probably we are to put in some other efforts or to seek other help, we can actually go out there to see how best we can recoup some of that money. But as of now, that is money that is very difficult to ascertain. But we will do our best. That being said, what is left out there for us to go to collect is exactly around the region of a billion, in excess of 1 billion Ghana cedis. So we are still going to do our best to sustain this exercise, and we are going to make sure that the last week of every month would be a revenue mobilization exercise. In the last week of every month,
Mr. Mahama also invited customers who are illegally consuming power to visit the offices of ECG to regularize power consumption to avoid prosecution.
All those who come to us as new service, Now it's no longer going to be a zero that we tell you we do not have a meter, so you can go home and consume where you connect. We are not going to do that anymore. We also want to eliminate the issues of illegal connections. Please, this is the structure. If you know you are consuming power with no recourse to ECG, please visit our office with immediate effect. This is a moratorium. Visit our office, we will set up your account, we will set you up in the system, we will check your premises, and we will put you on a flat rate. You will continue paying such a flat rate until your meter is ready and you'll be migrated onto the meter. The moment that is done, your service is now what? Complete. Please and please come to our office, because after the date is given for the next revenue mobilization exercise to take effect, if you haven't done this, all power consumed by you is considered what? Illegal, and is considered as what? Stealing. Please, I repeat, this is a moratorium. Visit our office with immediate effect. Let's create your service line. Let's create your account. Let's put you in the system and put you on a flat rate until such a time that your meter is ready. You cannot consume power for free. There's a huge gap that we have to close in the energy sector. And so we have come up with a strategy to collect whatever until such a time that you will be able to have your own meter.
That was Managing Director of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Samuel Dubik Mahama.
We'll stay a little while longer with the ECG because it has issued a stern warning to the public and customers of the company to desist from meter bypassing, meter tampering, and direct connections or face prosecution upon arrest. This warning from the Tema region of the Power Distribution Company comes after engineers and the Revenue Protection Unit of the company detected 6,491 cases of illegal connections between a period of 6 months in the 9 operational districts of the company. Out of the over 6,000 illegal connections detected from September 22 to February 2023, a total of over 1,500 illegal connections was detected in February this year alone, the highest within the period. The Public Relations Officer for ECG Tema Region, Sechua Mensah, says the company will ensure offenders are prosecuted.
Within a 6-month period, which is from September 2022 to February 2023, the ECG Tema Region detected 6,491 illegal connections. Out of this, we billed an amount of 2,891,263 Ghana cedis, and we've been able to retrieve 2,149,148 Ghana cedis. These 6,491 illegal connections were detected as part of our routine monitoring of meters, and some were also due to informants giving us information that there is a suspected case of illegal connection at this or that place. So we were able to retrieve the said amount out of the total billed. Some were able to pay upfront, the entire amount involved upfront. Some were able to pay about 70%, and then they were scheduled for 2 to 3 months for the balance to be paid. ECG has the mandate to prosecute customers who steal power, because it's basically stealing anyway. So if there are any situations where the customer decides to be difficult and we have no option of retrieving the money, we head to court. We'll plead with customers that as much as possible, we should all stay away from ECG installations. We should stay away from the meters, the transformers, the cables, everything belonging to ECG.
Sechua Mensah is the Public Relations Officer for the Electricity Company of Ghana for the Tema region. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News live from our studios at Adaraka in Accra. Still ahead in the bulletin, over 300 peasant cocoa farmers in Achim Isium in the eastern region have threatened to face illegal miners in the area if government fails to intervene in its operations. We'll bring you details of that and others shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant, and she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV?
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
The international football season has just reached fever pitch, and GoTV will be right there for it all. So get settled into your living room stadium because you are coming with us to the epic finales of the Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, Europa League, FA Cup, and more. All you have to do is get and stay connected to GoTV, where all the big games keep coming.
Points of world-class difference.
GoTV, love it.
No one stops that.
Listen up, people. There's good news for Airtel Tigo customers who haven't started and those who are yet to complete their SIM re-registration. Yes, good news. Complete your SIM re-registration and get free 5GB data falla to browse, chat, Zoom, TikTok, Snap, and do more on Airtel Tigo to change your world. If your SIM has been blocked, don't worry. You can have your number back and also get a whopping 5GB data as soon as you register with your Ghana card. Simply visit the nearest Airtel Tigo shop or agent today. Complete your SIM registration now. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, over 300 peasant cocoa farmers in Achim Esium in the Kwabi municipality of the Eastern region are threatening to take action if the government and the Ghana Cocoa Board do not intervene to stop the operations of a gold mining company in the area. The mining company AC Canon Limited is claiming to have been issued permits from the government and the Minerals Commission to mine on over 30 hectares of farmlands in the area. Currently, over 4.5 acres of cocoa farms belonging to the farmers have been destroyed by the mining company that intends to mine in the area for 13 years. In an interview with Citi News after a court hearing on the issue at the Asamankasi Circuit Court, one of the cocoa farmers said they will face the miners if government fails to intervene.
Company biaba so obeje concession with Wilma. AC Zeno company, mining company bi. Na wonge frase eye and on tutuya on dey bitu e form agudie no. Na asuom no ye check farmers data no. Afi no.
A mining firm by name AC Zenon says it has possession over portions of the land at Esium and that preparations are underway to begin mining on the land. The latest statistics also suggest that there are many people in Esium who are farmers, and the location of their cocoa farms have been taken over by the mining firm. If we do not take any action, the firm would destroy our source of livelihood because they wouldn't be able to offer us any adequate compensation. We have petitioned Cocoa Board, the MP, the MC, and even the chief, but to no avail, hence our decision to take a legal action.
The petition called Cocoa Board, your petition MP no, wama ya humwaye. Your petition MC, wama ya humwaye. Or here okro krano, ya kon ho, wanyantum. Enuti, ya di assemble down court. As you see, Guswa, you know, I can't wash him.
You heard that one of the cocoa farmers lamenting the impact of mining on farming activities. Now, the secretary of the Esium Adansi Cocoa Cooperative Union, Maxwell Kwabna Owusu, expressed shock over the government and Cocoa Board's attitude towards addressing mining issues affecting the cocoa sector. He says the country's cocoa stock will be depleted if the company is allowed to mine in the area.
They are not doing anything about it. They are not doing it. It's just yesterday they called that the IGP. They've called the IGP. They're going to arrest blah blah blah. And even the premise upon which they want to arrest the people, I don't understand it. That a farmer has sold his cocoa farm to the people to prosper for good. So they are going to arrest him because the cocoa doesn't belong to him. They give him the seedlings. My farm, I decided to set fire to you. What's your business? Cocoa Board. We've been calling you to come into the case. It is now that you are coming to tell you are going. Cocoa Board has come down. We called all the farmers. We gathered in Assume Presby Church. We had a big rally. We spoke. I've sent them over 300 names of petitioners stamped with Cocoa Board Farm ID. Cocoa Board has come to do what they call CMS. So we've mapped the farms. We have a farmer ID and farm ID. And we did all that with farmers, a phone number, including their signatures to Cocoa Board. They said they needed it so that they can say that these are the people who are because of what they are saying, that, and to today. And they come to court today and tell us that they really don't know where the case stands, that the case wasn't even supposed to be called there, it was supposed to go to higher court. And I'm like, I don't understand it. Go to high court. We've given you this thing since last year. We told you where the premises is. You've sent people to meet us here. You didn't know the case is not supposed to be here. Now you want us to go back again, spend another money to go to Korea to start the case afresh. It is affecting over how many acres? It's going to affect cocoa production massively.
Maxwell Kabna Owusu is the secretary of the Isium Adanse Cocoa Cooperative Union. Now, in response, the Ghana Cocoa Board says it will file a fresh case in Accra to prevent the mining company from going ahead with plans to cut down cocoa plantations in the area for mining purposes. Professor Michael Kwating, the head of the Galamsey Secretariat at the office of the CEO of Cocoa Board, has been speaking to Citi News.
So we are talking with Mineral Commission. When we get to the information we've gathered so far, we are also ensure that we do what is needful to protect them. Because if threatening is coming from the Mineral Commission or wherever, or the company, then that is why we are here. So we will ensure that our security department is working on this. So we report to them for them to take it up.
That was the head of the Galamsey Secretariat at the office of the CEO of Cocoa Board, Professor Michael Kwating.
Now, the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, says it is working to bring operations of the Tema Oil Refinery back on track. According to the NPA, the Tema Oil Refinery is currently not processing crude due to inadequate supply. At a media interaction in Koforidua, the director in charge of planning at the National Petroleum Authority, Dominic Abuaji, indicated that the board is in talks with the private partners to resume operations within the shortest possible time.
Discussions with some of the international traders to create a framework where we can allow them to bring the fuel into Ghana while our players sort out the financing issues. So at any point in time, you have the fuel in the country. So even if there's any challenge with funding, you still have fuel in the country, and the ones that's resolved, the product can quickly get onto the market. Versus a situation where we just leave things as they are, and then we say we are sorting out efforts, we are sorting out funding issues, and then now when it's ready, now to wait for vessels. And sometimes it takes about 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get a vessel when you order. I mean, the lead time from ordering to the product getting to Ghana take about 2-3 weeks, and we didn't want such a situation. So that was an intervention we made to ensure we have enough products in the country. Again, when you talk about security of supply, it's not even just about products, but it's about everything associated with making products available, which includes the port infrastructure. So we have a dedicated facility where petroleum products are offloaded, and it's situated offshore. Now, this facility sometimes can be exposed to encroachment by errant fishing vessels and people who are not supposed to be in that area. So there's what you call an exclusion zone in that area. So that area is supposed to be free from, should I say, outsiders or encroachers.
Director in charge of planning at the National Petroleum Authority, Dominic Abuaji. On his part, the Eastern Regional Director for NPA, David Owusu, appealed to consumers of petroleum products to insist that fuel stations do the needful.
Most of our consumers, if I say consumers, I mean people who buy petrol, diesel, kerosene, they do not know that you can easily challenge or request for the 10-liter can at every station. Actually, it is mandatory for every filling station to have a 10-liter can, which is readily available to anyone who so wishes to confirm the volumes that they are buying. However, they do not check, and they will rather want to complain. You understand? And In terms of the consumer, I want to add one thing. In most cases, when we buy petroleum products, we do not take receipts. And this is a very big challenge, particularly for the consumer unit. Because if you do not take a receipt after buying petroleum products, and there are any issues thereafter, there is no proof that you bought the product from this station. So sometimes it is a little bit of a challenge to us.
That was the Eastern Regional Director of the National Petroleum Authority, David Owusu.
And away from that and to the health sector, Citi News can confirm that the only magnetic resonance imaging MRI at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital has been faulty since February 2023 and awaiting major repairs. This comes on the back of complaints that patients were denied access to the service. This means that patients with conditions such as stroke, heart diseases, cancer and brain injuries, among others, have to seek these services from private facilities at a higher cost. In an interaction with Citi News, a source at the hospital revealed that some major components of the machine have already been imported into the country for repair works to commence.
Now, the Coalition of Unemployed Physician Assistants say that a meeting with relevant stakeholders on Wednesday did not yield positive results, as the Ministry of Health indicated that it is still in consultation with authorities on their postings to various health institutions. According to the coalition, they will continue to apply pressure on the government until their demands are met. A communications member of the Coalition of Unemployed Physician Assistants, Dorcas Mawonyo-Afia, spoke to Citi News.
Yesterday, a delegation of us, together with the National PRO for our mother body, GDA, together with the labor consultants and representatives of Ministry of Health, had a meeting yesterday. And at the end of the meeting, it was decided that the Ministry will continue to engage our mother body, that is GDA, to facilitate the postings of unemployed PAs. And then our mother body referred the representative of the Ministry of Health that the Minister of Health had previously invited them for a meeting, as according to the petition they had earlier on submitted. That was on the 1st of February, and to date, they had not had any response from the ministry. So over there, the head of PR asked them to propose 2 dates for that meeting. So as we speak, we are waiting for our mother body to submit those dates, and then based on whatever comes out from the meeting, we'll know our way forward. Currently, we've been asked to leave the job for our mother body, but we are unable to do that because we can't leave the job to them alone. GPA has been in consultation with the Ministry of Health for several weeks, months, even more than a year, and we have still not seen results. And for that matter, we as people are going to continue to put pressure until we have attained results.
That was a member of the communications team of the Coalition of Unemployed Physician Assistants, Dorcas Mawonyo-Afia.
Now, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, has welcomed the decision by the government to digitize the services of taxis in the country. The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, at the 46th session of the General Council meeting of the Church of Pentecost yesterday, announced that the government was in the process of completing processes to have taxis operate on ride-hailing apps. The move, he says, would help drivers of taxi cars to compete locally with other digital transport apps. Speaking to Citi News, the head of communications for GPRTU, Abbas Ibrahim Imoro, said the unions would support the move as of when it would be implemented.
Currently, we are in a digital world, and we wouldn't want to be left behind as the leading private transport operators in the country. Undisputedly, everybody knows. And we have even started engaging with, I think, the Transport Ghana also. They have a name of which we have started an engagement with them on this particular digital issue. So I strongly believe that is where we are. Have to move forward. So we have worked on it. And unless there are some problems, then we'll see and look for a best solution for it. Else, I have no choice. Move with it. And my understanding, with even when you get to some of the places, you have to show your card to the system, then the system will allow you to flow. If indeed that is where we are getting to, and that is how it works, why not we will embrace it and therefore we move forward. So I strongly believe if it will help. Every system has big problems, and as the problems cropped up, we also find solutions to solve them out. As I said earlier on, the individual was, so why not do that to make us move faster than we are doing today? We have no choice than to choose and go by that.
You heard there the head of communications for the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Abbas Ibrahim Imoro.
The Korle Klottey Municipal Education Directorate says it lacks the needed facilities to support effective teaching and learning. The Directorate says following its establishment 4 years ago, it has not been furnished with adequate resources to deliver on its mandate. Speaking at the handing over of a library built and furnished for the St. Barnabas Anglican School at Owusu by the Owusu Student Council, the Korle Klottey Municipal Education Director Joyce Osei Apenting appealed for more support.
The Korle Klottey Municipal Education Directorate was born in the year 2019 when Korle Klottey Municipal Assembly was carved out of Accra Metro. And so our directorate is a young one. It's 3 years and few months old. And because it is a young directorate, we lack a lot of facilities that will help us do effective teaching and learning. One of these is a library. And so I am very happy this afternoon for this occasion. To His Royal Majesty and the Foundation, the minds and hearts that thought of giving us these items. May the good Lord bless them. And it is our wish that the other schools that have rooms that have been occupied by Lady High Hills will also be seen. We promise you that with these books and computers, we are going to make good use of them.
That was the Municipal Education Director for Korle Klottey, Joyce Osei Apenting. Meanwhile, the Chief of Owusu, Noche Ni Note Owo V, assured that all schools within his jurisdiction would benefit from infrastructural development in education.
This library is the first of many we intend to open. Last year, we commissioned a computer laboratory and we stocked the science lab. And today we opened a library. The next few months of the year will see equal and similar progress of another library, another computer lab, and restocking another science lab. We have every faith and we have every belief that these places that we're commissioning and this facilities we're providing will go a long way to transform the lives of the children, of the youth of this community. We begin with Owusu, but it will not end in Owusu. Every other single town that falls under the stool will also benefit from similar infrastructural and educational projects.
That was Chief of Owusu, Noche Ni Note Owo V.
You're still listening to the Citi Prime News live from our studios at Adabraka in Accra. Still ahead in the bulletin, aggrieved customers of defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Company have petitioned the Securities and Exchange Commission to consider releasing their locked-up funds. We'll bring you details of that story and others shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Sweet, sweet mothers, how could we ever forget you? This year, on Mother's Day, we plan to do quite the festive opposite. What better way to show out for our beloved matriarchs than an entire evening dedicated to celebrating the phenomenon that is motherhood. Mama's boys and mama's girls, for all their love and sacrifices, here comes the ultimate Mother's Day gift. Picture this: a flavorous Ghanaian spread with countless mouth-watering treats, just like Mama's cooking. A glitzy dance floor serenaded by Mama's favorite tunes, just for Mama to boogie. And a stunningly intricate portrait of Mama, just to remind Mama how truly beautiful she is. Join us on Sunday, the 14th of May 2023 at 4 p.m. for an enchanting evening of appreciation and enjoyment for our feminine support systems. The venue is at the City Gardens, number 5, Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, and the rate is a cool 350 Ghana cedis. It's going to be an evening of Ghanaian food, dance, and the celebration of motherhood. So book now and secure a seat for Mama at the A Portrait of Mama Mother's Day dinner now. For more enquiries, call 020-5973-973. The Portrait of Mama Mother's Day dinner is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM and is sponsored by Dano Milk and Tasty Tom.
For the things you do for me, for the blessings you rain on.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Yeah, welcome back. We'll continue with the bulletin. And aggrieved customers of collapsed Gold Coast Fund Management are once again protesting at the premises of the Securities and Exchange Commission to demand the payment of their locked-up funds. This is the third day the group is picketing. The financial institution under the name Black Shield Capital Limited had about 55,000 customers whose funds were locked up shortly before the regulator revoked its license. Here are some of the aggrieved customers speaking to Citi News.
First and foremost, the funds I saved with Gold Coast Security was not funds I received as Ghana City, because I don't work here in this country and I don't receive my salary in Ghana City. So I exchange foreign currency to buy CD and saved it as an investment. And as you know, even the exchange rate, how the Ghana City keeps depreciating to its major currencies. So first and foremost, the funds which I have locked up, it's already trash. Even if I receive the funds today, right, it's already trash. Now, my husband has his locked up. I have mine locked up. My husband is suffering from stroke. Our children are in school. Our last one just went to SS1. We have 4 children. I have a son who is doing his master's in aerospace engineering outside the country. There is no institution in Ghana which offers aerospace engineering at the master's level. And so as an international student, paying international students fee, you know, how does the government expect me to get money to sponsor my children's education abroad when the government cannot even make provision like for masters at aerospace engineering at that level? So I want my money, even if there are no negative impacts. This is my lifetime investment, and I'm saying I want it. It is my most sacrosanct human right. Yes. I want my money. Yes.
They should pay our money. My son is sick. He's 44 years. I have to bath him, do everything. Even me, I'm 74 years. To bath that boy is war. Why? You keep our money there. I will get a maid, but I don't have money to get a maid for the boy. Why? Is it fair? Is it nice? You are sitting on the money, eating it, enjoying it, then we are suffering. My son is sick. They came to my house. They saw everything. I'm in uncompleted house right now. I work with the Ghana Commercial Bank. Why? Why?
You heard there some of the aggrieved customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management. Meanwhile, the leadership of the aggrieved customers have presented a petition to the Securities and Exchange Commission for the institution to release their funds to them. Charles Nyame is the convener.
You can use a liquidation order route which can take about 2 decades, as suggested by Securities and Exchange Commission themselves, as to be a condition to the bailout package. Therefore, with all due respect, for the sake of our people out there, we have no further strength to battle with the government. We are pleading with them in the name of God, as a listening father, wherever the 5.5 billion approved by Parliament is, should be, as matter of urgency, released and disbursed for the betterment of these dying customers of Gold Coast Fund Management and other fund management customers.
Charles Nyame is the convener of the aggrieved customers of the collapsed Gold Coast Fund Management. We'll go over the phone lines and speak to my colleague Emmanuel Opong, who is at the premises of the Securities and Exchange Commission to tell us more. Good afternoon, Ima. Many thanks for joining us. Today's day 3. The group is picketing and they have presented a petition. Tell us about today's exercise. Ima, if you can hear me, many thanks for joining us this afternoon. We know today's the third day of the group picketing at the Securities and Exchange Commission, and they have petitioned the commission. What can you report?
Okay, Wilma, if you could hear me.
Ima, I can hear you loud and clear. Please continue.
Okay, so today happens to be the third day of the picketing by some aggrieved customers of the Defined Gold Coast Fund Management Company. And just like they have been saying in the past 3 days, today rather they went on a solemn note to make a passionate appeal to the authorities, particular reference to the president to show clemency to them and release their funds onto them. And today they made it a point to present a petition to the authorities at the Securities and Exchange Commission, the petition which was received by the Communications Director in the person of Dr. Godwin Ansa. And as he received the petition, he assured the aggrieved customers that the petition will be relayed to the appropriate quarters. However, Dr. Godwin Ansa further indicated that the allegations being made by the aggrieved customers that the Director General of the Commission has withheld their funds is untrue. He, however, explained that given the fact from the narrative in 2019 when this development started, they went by the disbursement in accordance with considering the 47 affected financial institutions. So after the presentation and the reception of the petition, and the aggrieved customers have started disbursing or dismissing to their various destinations. And so I can say on authority that relatively calm has been restored here with the aggrieved customers moving to their various homes and workplaces.
So you want to say that the customers are assured, they are convinced of the answers that Securities and Exchange Commission has given them?
Yes, from the words of the Communications Director in the person of Dr. Gordon Ansa, he says he received the petition on behalf of the authority, and so he will forward it to the appropriate quarters. However, he indicated that some funds have already been disbursed.
Well, thank you very much for that update. That was my colleague Emmanuel Opong, who is reporting from the Securities and Exchange Commission, where some aggrieved customers of the collapsed Gold Coast Fund Management earlier today petitioned the commission so that they could consider releasing to them their locked up funds.
Let's stay with the financial markets. A group calling itself Locked Up Investment Holders Forum is calling on the President and the Finance Minister to get the Bank of Ghana to help them retrieve their locked up investments in licensed financial institutions. According to the group, its members are unable to get their monies due to the financial sector cleanup. Addressing the press on their concerns, convener of the group, Dr. Edua Nanientwi, bemoaned the silence of the Bank of Ghana and suggested that part of the Stability Fund be used to pay investors.
We wish to register our utmost displeasure about what we see as the lack of action on the part of the Bank of Ghana to act to protect our investment and ensure that we are able to access our funds. Consequently, we respectfully request the Bank of Ghana to take immediate steps to work to secure us our lock-up investments with the affected finance house and savings and loans for us to be able to access our funds. By copies of this letter, we respectfully request the President of the Republic and the Finance Minister to ensure that you, the Governor, work to get us back our locked-up investments. We are sending copies of this letter to the Speaker of Parliament and heads of key national government institutions to seek their support and intervention. We wish to state that we shall do all things legitimate to ensure that Bank of Ghana works to protect us and get us back our lock-up investment in line with Bank of Ghana's investment protection rule, investor protection rule, which is a key objective of financial market regulation and a mandate imposed on the BOD by law. Respectfully, sir, we wish to advise that if we do not receive a positive response from you towards the resolution of our complaint, we shall explore other means of getting a resolution to our complaint.
Dr. Edu Ananientwe is convener for a group calling itself Locked Up Investment Holders Forum.
Now, the Ghana Refugee Board has revealed that a reception and transit center have been set up to receive Burkinabe immigrants into Ghana. This is in quick reaction to the influx of immigrants coming into Ghana from Burkina Faso following the unrest in the West African country. The Fofoso community in the Savannah region, for instance, over 500 immigrants are said to have settled in the community from Burkina Faso. According to the Ghana Refugees Board, over 2,000 immigrants from neighboring Burkina Faso have already been registered in Ghana, with more expected to join soon. Speaking to Citi News on the matter, the executive director for the Ghana Refugee Board, Tete Paddy, says the board is working in tandem with security agencies to ensure their settlement.
We're working closely with Immigration Service, with the police, with NADMO on the ground, and receiving and registering the Burkinabes who are coming in from the northern frontier. We are setting up a transit center. We're setting up a reception center and a transit center some distance from the border, and making sure that anybody who comes in will get some proper screening and registration prior to them being allowed to settle in. So that is what we have now. We've opened an office in the Upper East region, and UNHCR is also present in the Upper East region.
Meanwhile, Tete Paddy says plans have been instituted to screen more foreigners who would seek asylum subsequently.
Do contingency planning for these sort of situations based on information that is available to us. We are aware that things are not getting better in Burkina Faso, so there's the likelihood that we will get more people coming in. We plan for that, and if indeed it happens, we take care of them as we should. Make sure that we are not caught unawares. We work very closely with all the security agencies. We work closely with other stakeholder agencies who have some interest in asylum seekers and refugees, and make sure that we coordinate the effort and make sure also that there's no duplication.
Tete Paddy is the executive director for the Ghana Refugee Board.
In some tragic news, a trader believed to be in her 50s has died after a truck lost control and ran over her at the Kumasi Central Market. The deceased, identified as Ekuyasewa, sold cabbage by the road at the Dr. Mensah intersection of the Central Market. The truck, according to eyewitness account, hit a stationary taxi cab and subsequently ran into the deceased, who was trapped underneath. The body has since been deposited at the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital morgue and the truck towed away from the scene.
Now, Citi News can confirm that management of MTN Ghana Limited is currently in a meeting with representatives of 4 mobile money associations who threatened to embark on a strike following the telecommunications network delay in paying them their monthly commission on time. The union also threatened to begin charging fees for some free services they render to customers. The group says their arrears, some of which have been delayed for a month, are affecting their operations. They say all efforts to get stakeholders to address their concerns have proved futile. The group is also demanding an increase in the cap in commission from 1,000 cedis to 3,000 cedis, and also proposed that cash out commission shares be pegged at 50%. And that's all time would allow us for on today's edition of Citi Prime News, which has been live on all our partner stations across the country. For more news, you can log on to our website, citynewsroom.com. I am Wilma Obuobisa Coleman, and this afternoon I did this with
Charles Owusu Kumi.
Up next is the afternoon's edition of the City Business News. Many thanks for doing the listening.